Go， 我是兔，绝对比你听的第一段更加夸张，觉得牛逼就在面前，没错哈，内在塌方，没有播放这首曲目，我会帮你们把它查。
Hello, I'm looking for my passport because I lost it because I'm a dumbass.
Nothing like getting through 2 gates of security and then...
Exactly where I left it.
Alright, we're getting ready to go to Jakarta. And we're watching this really weird TV show. Alright, we just touched down in Jakarta, made our way through Jakarta Airport.
That was the smoothest thing ever.
And now we're making our way to, we're going to take a public bus into the city centre, and then we're going to walk to our hostel. It's cheaper than taking a taxi, and also it's rush hour, probably takes the same amount of time. So we're walking towards our hostel. We've walked for about, well, we're walking for 2 kilometres, so I don't know how far we've walked. On the side streets, you see there's a huge mosque here and lots of people singing their favourite song. I don't know if you can hear it. Sounds not very good on this, so you probably can't hear it. But if you could hear it, it sounds great. Saturday morning in Jakarta. Oh my god. My voice cracked. And so we just had a little bit of breakfast at the hostel, and now there's a giant gate. It's number 24.
I think it's someone's house, bro.
They live in the gate. And you can see up there is a windmill. The Dutch just left their stuff. Just came here and left their stuff. As we're walking towards the national monument in the centre of Jakarta, saw a statue. I don't know if you can see. It's like some guy with a hat and his friend. I don't know if they're like just like washing his hands or she's giving him maybe a snack or something. I don't know. That's pretty cool. So this is the Indonesian National Gallery, and we're not sure if you're allowed to come in.
To the left, you'll see an actual Indonesian woman sitting there.
She's the National Gallery. This is her home. We're not sure if you're allowed to come in, but we figure we'll just walk in places until people tell us we can't be there anymore.
They have something before April, some exhibit.
Oh. Good observation, Chase. Continue walking along, you can see over there the National Monument. We walk past this almost like Soviet looking building. We don't know what Kostrad is, but there's people in uniform. So I'm guessing it's maybe it's the Boy Scouts. Practice in the tanks, no big deal. Okay, so we've come to the biggest masjid in Indonesia, or biggest masjid in Southeast Asia. It's a pretty big mosque. We're going inside. I don't know, you can't. This guy, he's the biggest person in Indonesia. We think these women are having a march-a-thon, which sounds like a really exhausting-a-thon. We've got the masjid in front of us, and then as you pan past the marching people, a giant cathedral. They love it. And here's like the marching. Oh, they changed their. They're like little like fancy little.
Hips, everyone, laid his hands on the hips.
So we've just come inside the giant masjid, and it's huge. We're on the viewing platform on the 2nd floor.
There's 5 floors of viewing, or 4 floors of viewing platform.
It's a lot of viewing. After 3 floors, I think I'd have viewed enough. So this is the main prayer room. I don't know if you can see, it's a little dark, but there's a giant drum. Apparently it's traditional in Indonesia, before they do call to prayer, they bang the drum. Indonesia, I guess, is a big fan of Stone Roses. And here you can kind of...
Right here.
You stand right here. So demanding. And then there's a minaret on the other side, but this is just a wall.
This is like legit. You guys, this is a good mosque.
Standing by the minaret, here's the view.
This is the main dome there, and then
The
smaller
secondary dome. So this is a national monument, Monas, here in Jakarta. We've just walked along an entire side. This country has no entrances to anything.
You can't get in. It's like all barred off. And
So we literally have just walked from the other side of that monument along a fence, and now we've got to the end, but this also seems to be fenced off. So like we're worried that we might have to walk to the other side of the Sodu monument.
if we go to that side, we'll hit the museum.
They love it.
We need to figure out your masuk
So we ended up walking around basically the entire
perimeter of the park.
perimeter of the park. There was only one entrance, and the rest, like we even had entered a small food hawker area, but even then it's still fenced off. Everything's fenced off. Even that you can't get in there. Anyway, so here is National Monument. That's Jason. Jason's not the National Monument. He's not Indonesian. That's National Monument. It's now inside the compound. Playing some psychedelic Indonesian rock music. So there's a lift, you can go to the top in a lift, but apparently if you come too late then there's a really big queue, and there's a really big queue, which means we've come too late. So we'll just look out the plane window when we leave. Alright, we just had a delicious lunch. Now we're on our way back to the hostel. We got some breads and some cakes.
Yes, we did. So I think we'll show you some later. But we're gonna it's called an ojai or something like that. I don't know. Don't quote me on that one. And we're going back to our hostel.
Alright, so after having our pastries, we're now at Cikini station. We're taking the train to North Jakarta. There's Jason. He's taking the train as well.
I got a ticket, guys.
He's got a ticket.
Official.
So this is a train station. It's the train police. That's the train passenger and the other train passenger in the...
Hey, so we're on the train now, and this is Jakarta. Train's moving probably slower than you can walk. Just touring on the train. It's all shot.
So we've come up to North Jakarta and we're coming to an area called Old Batavia, which is a big street market.
Big street market down here, a lot of people selling stuff. So we're gonna take a look.
Walking through Old Batavia. And now kind of you got all this old architecture. And then boom! I know what this is. There's a lot of people biking around though. I don't know if they're a gang or if they're just like a bike enthusiast group, or maybe there's like a roundabout and it's not clearly marked and they don't know how to get out. Who knows? Okay, so we're walking, well, after being accosted by 3 different groups of students for interviews about my home country. In one of the interviews, they asked me, in your country, in your mother tongue, how do you say how are you? And then to their disappointment, the answer was, how are you? They were like, oh. We're now walking around and there's lots of dilapidated buildings. Yeah. So we're walking along, past where we just were, along some old docks now.
So this is the old docks. I guess they're turning into something. I don't know. A lot of construction. And then just on this side you have Maritime Museum. I guess it's an old Dutch building.
A lot of potential. I like what they've done with the place. We've climbed to the top of a tilted warehouse. These all used to be old Dutch warehouses for storing spices 200 years ago. That's kind of the view. These are all the docks and then these are all the warehouses. That's the police. That's Jason! So we're walking through the main square again, just had some dinner. And then had some bakso noodle.
That was a dance performance coming out with all these kids. And
Guys in the way. You can't just walk across with a basket.
that's it. Turn on.
This is our friend Louise.
She's preparing herself for the dance of her life.
My guy would turn off that music. She's trying to concentrate. Okay, so we had a couple of drinks with some people at the hostel. Now we've come up to some street food.
guys. Not gonna lie. He was talking about himself getting laid, and I was like, I wish I was that girl. But you know, you take some and you lose some. And we had a murtabak, and now we're having a mie goreng by candlelight, you guys. This is romantic. This is Jakarta romantic.
So we just had some murtabak, now we're having some mie goreng. Just want to let you know how it all goes.
Oh. You guys, you eat in Jakarta. That's what you do. Don't tell me there's nothing to do. You eat.
Okay, it's Sunday morning.
You guys, we had a great night last night. We drank a lot. So today is a slow day, but we're making our way through, and we're here and we're queer. Actually, we met a gay guy last night. More on that later. Thought he was there.
Jason was ravaged by mosquitoes, so we're getting some breakfast. There's the man making the breakfast. This is our table.
There's a legend. The man, the legend, making breakfast.
Gonna have some noodles and something else on the side of the street. Alright, so now breakfast has arrived.
It's kind of like a meat dish with some noodles and some like wonton looking things. So we gotta try it. Actually, Torn tried it already.
It's pretty tasty. Okay, we've gone to a place that's supposed to be a market, but it looks closed. Just had our breakfast. Jason decided to throw it all down himself.
Yeah, it's right here.
It's alright, now it's mixed with the sweat so you can't see. It's quite warm, we're both sweating a lot. But not as much as she is. She must have a lot of hair for that helmet to be that perched at height. We're walking down Jalan Surabaya, and it's all shops that are selling kind of antiques. You got all kinds of antiques, you got Chinese antiques, Indonesian antiques, someone had like some Roman busts. It's pretty cool.
A lot of antiques, guys.
So we made it into the north of Jakarta, or into Glodok, which is the Chinatown area. It's kind of dead at the moment. We might be at like the end of it though.
Yeah.
Here's a temple, it's quite new.
It's about 12 o'clock, so we're gonna venture down this hallway here, see people's houses and snoop.
Maybe someone invite us for lunch, you know. So we just turned off a little street in the Chinese section. Yeah, kind of these houses are almost like Macau style. Quite dense. It's pretty cool. No one's invited us for lunch though, so that part's not cool. Not as friendly as they say they are. Okay, so we're now going to the main market area in the Chinatown here in Glodok. Guess we kind of went in the back end. So anyway, walking along. So continue our way down. We're getting to kind of the main parts now of Glodok. The main cyclist in Glodok. Inside one of the main temples here in Chinatown. And the main temple you can't see, but further in the back, I mean, it's essentially black from being burnt down in the late 90s. And they've just kind of covered it up with red tarpaulin. A lot of, but there's a lot of scars from the, or a lot of marks from the riots. We've just walked into a Chinese church complex.
Looks like a temple, but it's a church.
It's called Santa Maria de Fatima. We're in the main Chinatown kind of food street and market area. So we're going down. All kinds of good looking stuff. I don't even know what's in there. Just walking along, going under an overpass here in Chinatown. There's a lot going on. Jason's eating watermelon. I've got a yellow watermelon. Is that still watermelon? I don't know. Tastes like watermelon. Okay, so we're now in the airport. We just got through security. Now we're getting ready to go back to Singapore. It's the end of our Jakarta journey.